I am joined by Ben Yao. He is the executive chairman of Thaton Properties. Ben, good morning, and thank you for waking up and joining us on Morning Rush today.
Yeah, good morning. Nice to be on Morning Rush. It's very exciting and looking forward to having a conversation.
Yep, I understand you were at the House of Lords in London recently. Thaton Properties was recognized at the International Property Awards. Tell us about that.
Okay, so we've got a project that we're busy with at the moment. It's the 2267 Lifestyle Estate. It's in Glenlawn. And I emphasize lifestyle estate. And a few months back, the International Property Awards group wrote to us and indicated that our project stood a really good chance of being considered, And we went through quite a process with them in terms of submitting all of our technical drawings, all of our architectural engineering, survey drawings, all of our specifications, our approvals, permits, and yeah, it was about a 2.5-month process, and in the end of it, we were shortlisted, and then we were advised that we had won 3 awards at the International Property Awards. So yeah, it was an absolute honor, absolutely amazing recognition for the work that we're doing in Zimbabwe. Recognition that Zimbabwe is actually producing products and doing residential developments at a global quality scale, at a globally recognized level. So that was very exciting for us.
I know as Thaton Properties, you guys have quite a huge property portfolio in South Africa, but you've recently started doing quite a lot of work back home in Zimbabwe. And then when you then get that recognition for work that you're doing in Zimbabwe, like what does that do for the vision that you have for property development in Zim?
Okay, in South Africa we did a lot. Developed, owned, and operated the first Radisson Hotel in South Africa. But even with a project of that magnitude, we didn't get this kind of recognition. To get it now when you're in Zimbabwe is absolutely special. It's absolutely special. And this raises the bar and allows other developers to come up, and ultimately the public get a much better product, So yes, in South Africa we never got this kind of recognition. This, as far as I can recall, and even at these current awards, we had a number of South Africans there, and it was all the big boys, like Investec Property, Baldwin Property, big mega projects. And for ours to be recognized at that same level, in terms of our architecture and in terms of large projects, it was a real honor and something that we're very proud of.
And looking at the 2267 Lifestyle Estate, what do you think it was about this particular property that was able to give you the edge in terms of the recognition? You talked about the period of about 2 to 3 months where you were engaging with adjudicators and you were sending through your plans. What do you think was able to just get you that recognition from the International Property Awards?
Okay, so recognizing the Zimbabwean challenges of power, our project is super, extremely energy efficient. So this is the first development to ever have double glazing in Zimbabwe. Double glazing on all doors and windows. Everywhere where there's glass, it is double glazed. Now the benefits of double glazing is that it gives the performance, the acoustic and thermal performance is exceptional. Acoustically meaning because we had to consider our site, our location. We are right on Enterprise Road, Edim Nangagwa Expressway, sorry, and there's a heavy vehicle movement. So the acoustic part means that any noise from outside does not transfer inside. But importantly, on the thermal side, it means any heat outside does not transfer inside into the apartment. All right, so if you're in summer and you are cooling, the cooling, the energy that your air conditioning uses is less because it's not having to cool to continuously recool when there's heat came from external environment. And in the opposite way, when it's in the winter environment, and you are heating, you are not having heat loss from internally to going outside. So your air conditioning works exceptionally efficiently. But then the further interesting thing is that the air conditioning that we use works off a heat exchanger. A heat exchanger is a piece of technology where you take the heat from this ambient air around us.
Okay.
All right, you don't have to generate heat. You actually extract it from the ambient air. It's compressed and it's then pushed out through your AC unit as the heated warm air that you get. Similarly, in reverse, the heat exchanger will extract the cold in the ambient air and then compress that again, and it comes out as cooling in your air conditioning. Now, this heat exchanger is a very energy efficient piece of technology. But we went on even further than that. When you are cooling, the negative output out of it, call it your exhaust.
Yep.
It's heat. Now that heat is then also compressed and goes into a heat pump that then provides and generates your hot water.
Oh, so it sounds very energy
So the
efficient.
whole thing has got all these linkages to it. It then drives and generates your hot water. So if you think in a normal residential house, in winter, electricity is a problem because everybody's turning on these electrical heaters, right? It's also, a geyser is also one of your biggest energy consumers in a normal household. Now, our system uses less than 10% of the energy of a solar geyser.
That's very efficient.
Right? So that is super efficient. And because of that very low power demand that we have, we were then able to put into every single apartment an inverter and a lithium ion battery that then gives that apartment, basically almost takes it off grid. Okay. We've now also installed 50 kVA solar power installation on each building block. We've got 8 buildings in this whole development, and that has literally almost taken all of our apartments off grid. So to be so energy efficient and to be doing it almost off grid is a significant innovation in terms of energy conservation. So that couples up with the SDG goals. You'd know that right here in the CBD, we've got this building, the old Mutual building here next to the Maples Hotel.
Yep.
That building got international recognition for its energy efficiency.
ISCATE.
Yes. Yeah. So I think because of that technology and all of those things that we've done, that made us stand out from your normal traditional developments and projects that just put a solar geyser on the roof and don't innovate to the extent that we are.
And is this a technology that you guys are looking to maybe just take beyond this specific apartments and maybe just spread out through the country? Because I'm thinking at a macro level, I know you guys as property developers, we're looking for your specific properties, but at the macro levels, we've been talking about renewable energy, we've got issues with power supply. Is this something that you think maybe in collaboration with government and maybe other developers, you guys can then help bring this technology to the masses?
Absolutely. You know, we are negotiating currently with our partners in China for exclusive SADC distribution rights for this technology, for the heat exchangers that can drive an aircon and drive a heat pump. We know there's a serious power crisis in the SADC region. South Africa, with Eskom, they've had significant problems. Here in Zimbabwe, we don't have sufficient power. So all of these kind of private sector initiatives will definitely help. So it could very well soon, we're looking at possibly by the early part of 2026, you yourself will be able to buy a heat exchange, install it in your house.
I'm excited about that prospect.
Hot water, and for the first time, you probably have air conditioning in your house.
Especially when you consider the temperatures that we've had to endure. But I picked up something when you were talking about the properties that you're working on, particularly in Zimbabwe, and that you guys were recognized by the International Property Awards. And you mentioned a lifestyle estate. I've noticed there's sort of like a construction boom that's happening in Zimbabwe. You talked about the Emerson and Mnangagwa Expressway, a lot of construction happening both privately and commercially. But when it comes to private property, we're hearing a lot about clusters. But what's the difference between what you call a lifestyle estate and what maybe us general public just call clusters?
Okay, there's a big difference. Clusters are usually much smaller projects, maybe between from 6 to about even 4 to about 12, 15 units. And it's a clustered group of residential accommodation where they absolutely maximize the land that is available, okay? Our development is sitting on almost 1.5 hectares. If we were doing clusters on that piece of land, we probably would have ended up with about 240 units, 200 plus, all right? We didn't densify to the level of clusters. And we didn't densify because we were aspiring to be a lifestyle estate. So a person that invests or comes to live in a lifestyle estate, you find that there's a significant amount of additional amenities. So we're the first to have a paddleball court in our development.
Now, I've been trying to get into that quite a bit.
That's absolutely amazing. Yeah. That's the fastest growing sport in the world right now. We've got mini golf within our lifestyle estate. We've got a fully equipped gym in our lifestyle estate. So if you're living there, you don't have to.
So it's not just about a block of concrete that looks nice.
We've got a fully equipped gym. That gym comes with a large size sauna. So residents can come in there, I think accommodating about 18 people at a time in the sauna. And then there's also a steam room. Then there's also a clubhouse and swimming pool and kitchen and braai facilities, children's play area that are manned, from 6 o'clock until 6 o'clock. There's a running track. So there's all these amenities that we provide to enhance your living, to make it a lifestyle estate. So we are targeting people that are outdoorsy, that want to have a healthy lifestyle, with all of that sport. And we've tried to put in facilities and amenities that will appeal not only to the young children, but even to the elderly, should they find themselves living in the state. So that's the difference. A lifestyle estate comes with things that enhance your lifestyle, enhance the way you live, and it's not just a group of small apartments or houses that are clustered together.
All right, I mean, it sounds all engaging and interesting, but looking at your target market, who are you looking to sort of come in and buy properties in those kind of lifestyle estates? And as a Thaton Properties, when you look at the state of the real estate industry in Zimbabwe and the construction industry, what role do you guys think you can play now that you're being recognized globally for the work the innovative work that you've done here? What's the direction you're heading for, and maybe your target market for the properties that you'll be working on?
Okay, so with all of our hotel development experience, we brought that in and wanted to create a real 5-star residential project. And we know that there are so many Zimbabweans in the diaspora who, when they look at the quality of accommodation they have overseas, there's not a lot of comparable local products. And we wanted to build something that any diasporian would look at and say, this is as good as the best I'll get in London. This is as good as the best I can get in Australia or in New York or any other part of the world. So we were targeting those Zimbabweans who are not local, have gotten used to a very high standard of sophisticated residential property. That was our primary target. But interestingly enough, the bulk of our investors and buyers have been local guys who have just said, this is exceptional, this is quality. And I think that came out because there's a lot more money in Zimbabwe that we give credit or is acknowledged.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money.
Especially in construction and real estate, there's a lot happening as well.
There's money here.
Yeah.
And this is why I preach about, we always talk about foreign investors, but they are local domestic investors. And instead of just putting in place incentives for the foreign investors, there needs to be more incentives for domestic investors. To answer your question on what lessons, I think it's always good when someone comes and moves the needle, raises the bar a little bit higher. It encourages all others to follow. Zimbabwe is going through renaissance, I would call it, if you could call it that. And, there's more and more innovation. I would mention companies like TDW. They produce an exceptional product, and a few others out there as well. Amtrust, they produce exceptional products. And let the quality and the standards continue to improve so that the Zimbabwean consumer continues to get a quality product. We have a significant issue to redress, which is that there were developers previously who were in it for the short term that took a lot of people's money and did not deliver. And there's a group of new emerging property developers that have really committed to giving the customer, the person looking for a home, exactly what they need. And those three I mentioned are some of the leading organizations within that space.
That sounds all very exciting, and I'm really interested to see where Thaton Properties takes the real estate industry in Zimbabwe. I mean, the fact that you guys have already been recognized globally, and then when you're tied in to the fact that one of your big target markets is the diaspora, I think that gives you guys a lot of credibility. I mean, like the thing that stood out for me, the double glazed doors, I think it's a technology that I hope you guys win in the engagements that you're trying to have with your Chinese partners. But before I let you go, maybe just your final word to people interested in working with you guys or investing in you guys as Thaton Properties.
Well, I think we've got, for those who are looking to invest, I think there's 4 units left at 2267. So you better hurry. Get in touch with Catherine, get in touch with Shingi or Munya, and we'll help you. In terms of my last closing words, I really see this as the beginning. After a very long career in South Africa in the property sector, where I was a business person of the year before, by the way, what we've got planned on the cards is really going to blow Zimbabwe away. There are 4 major projects that we've got coming up in the very near future, and we'll be launching one in December this year. There's a major, beautiful high-rise development in Avondale. We've got a mixed-use development coming up in the Borrowdale area. We've got one coming up very close to Highlands Park. And most importantly, we've got one coming up in the CBD. I think the CBD is so ready for rejuvenation and to bring it back to its former glory, urban renewal. CBD of Harare, watch the space.
Ben, thank you very much. I've been just having this conversation with you. I am excited about property development, not only in the capital, but in terms of the innovations that people like you can bring. And I'm glad you decided to come back home and lend us your talents. And, I think as a country, we're going somewhere. And with guys like you driving us, I think we'll be going places.
Well, in closing, there are many more brilliant Zimbabweans that are out in the diaspora, lost, I would say, in the diaspora. Come back home, guys. This is where it's happening. This is the future. We need you.
Ben, thank you very much for joining us. And yes, Thaton Properties, big congratulations to them once again. Internationally recognized at the International Property Awards. House of Lords, London.